what's up guys? Coach Jesse Minshew with GetHandles.com. Bring you guys the quick shot answers to all those questions you asked me about a week ago in the video where I said I'd answer all the questions. Doing something different though, doing a little behind the scenes in the kitchen. I'm kind of enjoying the vlog type video, so wanted to do some more like that in the kitchen here. I'm going to enjoy some Spark the watermelon. This is my favorite flavor. Stuff's delicious. My little pre-workout drink. I'm going to drink it in my Bucks cup. Go Bucks. The team needs a little work, but Giannis is looking pretty beastly. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about Giannis before you leave me any of your questions. You think he's going to be an all-star next year? I think he's got a good shot to be an all-star, maybe even a starter, so that would be cool. But let's get into these questions real quick. Before I do it though, leave a comment down below if you have a question that you want me to answer in these quick shot answers. I'm going to try to get as many of them answered as I can for you guys. But, you know, I'm not going to guarantee I'm going to get to every single one. What I'm going to mainly try to do is get as many as I can and really hit on the ones that, you know, I haven't answered already in a tutorial video before or a basketball answers video before. I'm going to really try to help out the people, you know, whose questions haven't been answered on my channel. Oh, and if you want to try this Spark, once again, like I said, I like taking for my workouts or games. It's just a great way to get energized and focused without all the garbage that goes into an energy drink. Head over to sparkedupenergy.com. I'll have a link in the description down below if you want to check it out. Alright, so let's get into these questions. There's over 103 comments. I'm going to try to answer every single one of them. If any other comments are left on this video, I'm probably not going to get back to them. I'm going to move forward with this video. So, you know, if you got questions, leave them in the comments down below for this one. But 103 comments, probably about 90 questions, and I'm going to try to answer all of them. Real quick, shout out to Aaron Jaros. Hopefully I said your name right, man. He did an awesome job of really trying to help other players out with his answers to the questions, and there was a couple other people in the comments below doing that too, so awesome. Great to see you guys helping each other out. Let's get started. Wet in the throat. We're going to go first comments to last. This is taking a while to load. First one says, very good, thank you. Second one says, hey, thank you. Third one, I train every day and I'm having trouble hitting shots. I'm having trouble with my form. Well, you're not giving me a lot of information, but the main thing I can give you is to work on your form. You know, take the time to go close to the basket and work on form shooting. That could be as simple as basically just, you know, going right to the basket. Could be one hand form shooting, could be two hands, but making sure, you know, all the things are in check as far as, you know, elbow in, everything's aligned, a slight turn, all that sort of thing. That's going to be important. So that's the main thing. Work on form shooting. The next comment, what up fam? What up? Next comment from Mason Riley. How do I attack and read a defender? Is there anything other than attack the top leg? Yeah, definitely. You know, a lot of times, you know, you want to attack the defender's top leg, but another thing you can do is, you know, pay attention to a defender's momentum. So if you can kind of get a little bit of movement going and your defender is moving one way, then you move the other. Real simple thing you can do. Next one, Jeffrey Second, Dodger, Jimmy, Mr. Pig. That's a crazy name. I am a good basketball player and I'm a great shooter, but I don't know what move to do or to shoot, drive, step back, or etc. Do you have any advice? Yeah, same thing as the last one, really. Just pay attention to your defender's momentum, spacing, top leg, all that. If you have the space for the shot, take the shot. If they're up tight on you, take the drive. And again, pay attention to the momentum. And he asked then after that, you know, what move should I use or any advice on what crossover to do or whatever. You know, as far as moves, I wouldn't pay too much attention to that as far as the spacing and all that. The moves are just what you use to protect the basketball as you're getting past the defender if you're going past them, or, you know, whatever it takes to create space. Next one from South Brunswick Vikings. I'm having trouble keeping the basketball under control when I play. People keep on taking the ball away from my hands. Do you have any advice? Yeah, same thing as I just said at the end of the last one. Basically, you know, keep the ball between you and your defender to protect it. You know, whether it's a behind the back dribble, a protection dribble, you name it, or when you're driving, making sure you're stepping with this foot first so the ball's in between, you know, you have your body between you and the defender. So the ball's back here and you can shield it as you're driving. So, real simple tip. How do I break ankles, change speeds? From Jocks21. Real simple, change speeds. That's how you break ankles. Go from fast to a stop, or go fast one direction and change direction. Those are the two of the easiest ways to break ankles. Changing speeds, again, it's just a matter, it all comes down to your footwork mainly. A little bit with the dribble speed, but mainly you just want to focus on, you know, your footwork and stopping, going, or changing direction real quick, or going from a stop to a go or a go to a stop. Those are your main ways of breaking ankles. From Lazar Stojkovic, I probably messed it up, sorry man. He says, hey Snake, My name is Lazar from Serbia. I started following your channel a few months ago. I'm a good ball handler. I'm tall. I really have good vertical, but I can only touch the rim. My biggest problem is shooting after dribbling. My coach says that I really fix my shooting style, but if I shoot after dribble, it's an 80% chance that I'll miss or make an air ball. Can you give me advice on how to fix that? Can you show me some drills or shooting after dribbling the ball once in your future videos? Well, I do have some videos already on that, so I'm going to tell you just to check those out. But the other thing is just to work on focusing on your footwork, taking the time to get set completely before you shoot, and making sure you have the ball in the shot pocket before you go up for that shot. Starting right is going to make sure that shot is right all the way through. Making sure you're getting set up right is really, really important. Nathaniel Combs, I'm short, but I'm a good shooter, but I always get picked when I try to go to the paint. What can you do to help me with that? Well, when you get into the paint, you have to pay attention to, the defenders that are all around you. I actually just had a drill or multiple drill video of how to finish like Kyrie Irving, how to do layups like Kyrie Irving. You want to check that out. That's going to really develop your ability to move the basketball around and maneuver through those second lines of defenders. But again, you want to make sure you're moving the ball away from where the defenders are, moving your body away, or protecting the basketball. One of those two, maybe, or all three potentially things. All your options you want to make sure you have available. And again, it comes to developing your skill set and reading your defender. Josh Wild says, hey Jesse, my form is pretty consistent, however my shot accuracy usually isn't. I would say I make about 50 to 55% of the shots I take. With regards to threes, I usually struggle to keep the same form as I can't get the power. Does this seem right to me? As not boasting, I would say I look like I would have enough power in terms of muscle size, etc. Should I try and change my form? I find Steph Curry's sort of shot to give me more power. However, in games, I usually go back to my original form automatically. I usually train about 3 times a week, and I work full time. It's hard to find more time to practice. So one thing I'm going to recommend for you is to try to take some time away from playing games, because if you're coming back and playing into games a lot, and you're going to go back to what's comfortable for you. And if your old form is what's comfortable for you, now it's going to start to become, you're cementing that habit in. So you're going to want to make sure, if you want to try to get more of that Steph Curry form to, make it so you have a more consistent shot with that range, especially from 3-point range, you're getting tons of repetitions in the gym all by yourself, so you can get that down. One thing you could do for that, again, is the last basketball answers video I did, is where you just shoot all by yourself without having a hoop. That's a quick way for you to get a lot of extra repetitions in. So you might want to try that, and just spending some time away from games and working on making sure off the dribble and from 3-point range that you're practicing and getting that form consistent. And then once you know for sure, okay, this is the way I always shoot, I can do it off the dribble, etc., then start getting into games again. Alistair Uris, hopefully I said that right. Hey man, how can I get an explosive start? That comes down to your athleticism with your legs. You're going to want to work a little bit on some, single leg exercises. Lunges are great. Even also both leg exercises, squats, deadlifts are going to be great for that. Also, just working on your explosiveness and covering ground off your first step while you practice is going to be very important. How can I, same question you asked it like 4 times. Marcos Jordan says, how do you become explosive? Same thing I just said, basically. You can also work on your explosiveness when you're dribbling by focusing on pounding the ball and working a little bit more with, some other techniques to work on your speed. I cover a lot of that type of stuff with explosive first step in my Elite Feet program, and I have a lot of stuff on as far as getting more explosive dribble, and also a little bit with first step explosiveness in my Speed Handles 2 program. I'll have a link down below for my training programs. You can check all of them out. Otherwise, if you want to just kind of get a feel for my workouts, head over to gethandles.com for a free workout. Brooks Wagner says, hey Jesse, I'm trying to change my form a little bit, but whenever I shoot, I just go back to my old form without realizing it. Same thing I just said to the guy a couple questions ago. Spend some time away from the game, get some shots up, lots of repetitions. It might take a month of doing this, and even then, you probably, when you come back into games, your form's probably going to go a little bit back to what it was. It's probably going to be in between what you were working on by yourself and what you used to do while you played in games, and it'll kind of meet somewhere in the middle. But over time, the more you practice, by yourself, then it'll start to become more of a habit to do it that way. J.O. Super Handles says, hey Jesse, I got super handles and I'm a good shooter, but I need explosiveness and speed. How do I get it? Same thing, same answer I gave a little bit ago. Nico 0313, hey, I am a good overall offensive player, but my defense needs some improvement. Can you teach me how to properly steal the ball, and also teach me How to stop someone from driving in on me without getting called for a fall. I practice every day, Monday through Thursday. I practice on a court with my friends and teammates. Please explain this one thoroughly because I need help. I've been watching your videos. Okay, so I have a bunch of tutorials already on as far as how to play defense, different types of positioning, stances, as far as spacing, ways you're going to want to play different defenders and whatnot. So go through some of my old videos. Just search Jesse Minch defense and you'll find a bunch of my videos. I give a lot of tips on that sort of stuff. But as far as trying to get steals, I wouldn't focus too much on steals. If you see there's an opportunity when you're in your stance and you have good positioning, good spacing from your defender, that you can get the hand in there to steal the ball, go for it. But don't ever try to lean your body over to try to steal it, because that's how you're going to get your ankles broken. That's how you're going to get out of position. If you watch Kawhi Leonard, he does a great job of always staying in a good stance. If he's going to pick the ball, it's just because he's got long arms and he's sticking that arm out. But you always want to make sure you're keeping your feet in front of your defender. It's all about that positioning. You want to make sure you're staying in front of your defender with your feet and your body. That's number one priority. Stealing should be number two. And again, that comes to staying in front of your defender. And if you have the opportunity to hit the ball away without moving your body, go for it. Mason W says, shooting, shot. What can I do to improve my shot? I'm 15, 5'10", 5'11", playing a high school freshman team as shooting guard, but mainly small forward. My coach even said my shot is complete ass and I need to improve it. I think it just looks funky. I don't have a good form and I struggle aiming for the basket. I have a hoop and can practice every day for hours. I just don't know how. So this goes back again to that last video. I need a drink. Throat's getting dry. Last video, again, how I talked about, paying attention, elbow in, making sure you got that bend right here, at least 90 degrees or more. I actually noticed, I've been watching more Steph Curry videos, he tends to bend even more once he gets the ball up here than 90 degrees with this elbow here. And making sure you got that wrist back, flicking the wrist, follow through, arm straight, all that. Make sure your guide hand drops off. And then from there, it's just a matter of getting lots of repetitions in. That's going to be huge for you. Getting lots of repetitions. Start close to the basket, and over time, over a course of weeks, get further away from the basket and making sure that form stays the same. Lots of repetition, though, is going to be huge for that. And not just any repetition. Repetition doing the form the way you want it. So everything's lining up here with your elbow, your wrist, your hip, all that. Boom, straight up. Next question. Arshpreet Sekhan, sorry man if I messed that up. Who's your favorite NBA player? Right now, Steph Curry. He's crazy, he's fun to watch, he's something different, he's exciting. I really like Kyrie a lot, and right now, being a Bucks man, Giannis, man. I love, since he's moved to point guard, like the progression he's made as a player. I just think it's a really interesting and good fit for him because of his size. He's kind of like a Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant's body. If he can get that three-point shot going, he's going to be solid. So I'd say he's in the running with Curry for being my favorite player right now. Next one, Jaztesh Matthew. I'm really sorry, guys, if I'm butchering your names. I'm not the best with this. How do I shoot further or have better range? And when I shoot, my offhand doesn't come off, so my fingers always get in the way. Okay, so it sounds like it's probably the same issue. If your offhand is interfering, that's going to interfere with your range, because if you have the other hand flicking or pulling the ball back in your guide hand, that's going to mess things up. So one thing I like to do, there's two different things you can try. The first thing I would try recommending, though, is when you shoot, I like to tap in the inside of my elbow pit there on my shot to help make sure that this hand is dropping off. If this hand, notice how when you do that, this hand automatically drops off for that shot. So if you try to touch here, this hand's going to drop off before you release. The other thing you can do is, I like to focus on when I shoot. Sometimes I'll also do something where I'll basically try to tap my forearm here and make sure that I'm kind of curling my hand slightly in. Because a lot of players, what they'll try to do is they'll try to drop this offhand off, but then what ends up happening is as they're pushing that hand out, they flick the ball with their guide hand thumb. So by pulling it in, you're going to prevent yourself from getting that guide hand thumb flicking in, and you'll rotate in. So two things you could try there is tapping and putting your hand to your forearm or your wrist area, or putting it right in your elbow pit there. Two different things that you could give a try, but that'll probably also help with your range as well. So next one, again, who's my favorite NBA player? From John the Cool Wookie Spawn Horse. You guys got some crazy names. I kind of like it though. Same answer though. LeBron James. Hey, what's up, LeBron? Hey, when I want to be a good ball handler, but I do your ankle breaking moves every day on the court, I know how to do it, but I can't pass my defender and they're not falling for the fakes, crossover, spin moves, etc. What do I do to be a good ball handler and get past my defenders? Well, first you have to have a comfortability with the moves. So if you're not comfortable with the ball control required to do the moves, make sure you get lots of repetitions in to get that down. Number two, if you have that down, now you want to work on covering more ground and getting more movement going into the moves, because you're not going to break ankles or get past the defenders if you're always at a standstill and trying to sell fakes like that. You need to get some movement going, or at least some body sway going to get the defender moving one way or another. So you want to make sure you're doing that. That's going to be huge for you. Jackson Potter, how you get so good at dribbling? Lots of practice, trying new things, but at the same time having a level of consistency. A lot of it I kind of cover in my programs, like, more of my top secret type stuff that I've been doing over the years. You can check that out again at the link down below, gethandles.com/training programs, or again, if you want to get just a free starter, introduction to kind of the stuff that I teach, just head over to gethandles.com, pop in your email, and there's a free workout there. But basically just trying new things, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't, trying, things from other coaches and instructional DVDs and whatnot. And then just a lot of it for me was just like, okay, this is what needs to be done. And then I would come up with drills on my own and try them out and see what worked and what helped and made a big difference and what didn't. And that was huge for me. King Julahun says, sup. Sup. And then he also left another comment and said, I like this. I like it too. Osama bin Lama, okay. Do you think you should point your feet towards the basket or turn them like some coaches teach? I agree overall, but at the end of the day, do what's comfortable with you. But overall, I agree. Yeah, you should have a slight turn, because it makes it a lot easier to get everything lined up. I'm a lefty shooter, and a lot of lefty shooters I've noticed have an extra big turn in the way they point their feet. So, do what's comfortable for you, I would say overall, but I would recommend either having a slight turn, or at the very least trying to get one of your feet slightly forward, or I shouldn't say one of your feet, your shooting foot slightly forward. That's going to help you as well, kind of get that alignment going. Trenton Miller says, hey Jesse, I can jump off 2 feet and grab rim, but off 1 foot I have trouble jumping high. Is it an issue with the way I'm approaching the jump, and how can I fix it? So this is something that a lot of players actually have an issue with. They're either good at 1 or 2. I'm more of a 1 foot jumper. 2, I have a little bit more difficulty getting higher, but it's something I've worked on to develop, and now I can get pretty high off 2 foot as well. So the first thing is just to practice your 1 foot jump and just getting repetitions in and getting comfortable with it. But another thing to pay attention to is that you're getting a good running start, and then your second to last step you want to be long, okay, a nice long step. And then your very last step, you want to be a short step, so that'll pop you up a little bit higher. Try to keep your body upright. Those are 2 of the main keys I can give you, though, is pay attention, long second last step a little bit shorter to help you pop yourself up, and try to remain vertical as much as possible. Also make sure you're getting to a maximum speed right before you go up into that jump. Lorenz Trebucio, how do you go against tall people? Well, it really depends on the game situation, but always try to use your speed to your advantage. Generally, unless you're Kevin Durant or Giannis, most tall players aren't that quick. Even those guys, they have tough time guarding guys that are quick like Kyrie or Stephen Curry, because they're usually quicker. So use your speed to your advantage whenever you can, and use their height to a disadvantage. A lot of tall guys are going to want to try to block your shot, so a good pump fake is a good way to get them jumping and then going the other way, or try to finish under them, because a lot of them are going to try to swat you up here. So if you could scoop your shot under them, great way to do that. Next question, Nate Marcello. I'm a 5'4" freshman athletic, but I can't seem to finish contact layups or fast break layups without being scared of someone blocking me. How can I fix this? Get repetitions in, going up strong to the basket, trying to finish strong. Every time you go into a game, then think about that, trying to jump as high as you can and finishing strong at the basket. You can maybe even get some practice in at a gym with someone with getting like a football, like a blocking pad, and hitting you on your layups, just so you can get used to the feel for that. But that, and then make sure you always keep your eyes focused on the backboard, on where you're trying to finish that layup. Think about that and only that. Everything else, just use your peripheral vision to see. You want your eyes locked in on that backboard. Anthony Marino says, what is your favorite crossover and can you do a video on it? Don't really have a favorite crossover. I'm always working on new, combos and whatnot. I don't know, check out my videos, and pretty much all of them I like, because it's game situational. I try not to have a favorite move because there's, different situations where different moves are going to work for different types of defenders and whatnot. So you want to play based more on that. But off the top of my head, I would say check out my How to Break Ankles, the top 5 crossover moves that I had come out not too long ago. That's got 5 of my favorite loop moves. I'll put a link in the top right here. You can click that, or I'll try to remember to put a link in the description down below for it as well. That's a great video, with 5 of my favorite moves that I really like to use to break ankles and get by guys, create space, all that stuff. Luis Dominicano says, how can you work on your weak hand? I've already had like 3 videos on this. Check out my channel again. Just search Jesse Minch, weak hand drills. Got a bunch of tips for that. I also have a full program on that called Ace Hand. Again, click that link down below for gethandles.com/training programs. That Ace Hand program is all about developing your quote-unquote weak hand. We call it the Ace Hand as far as your dribbling, your footwork, finishing, a whole bunch of other stuff. But mainly it just comes down to getting some repetitions in on game-type moves and then some individual skill repetitions where you're just pounding out reps to get comfortable with, things you need to be comfortable with for games. Ball handling drills at home. Check out my ball on a string program, my free workout from gethandles.com. Both great things that you could do at home. But basically, anything stationary you can do at home. So, that's something simple you can work on, whether, if you can dribble, obviously dribble, but if you don't have a place you can dribble, ball wraps aren't the best, but, behind the back, between the legs, ball wraps, it's better than doing nothing. It's always better to do something than nothing as long as it's something that's beneficial to your game and you're practicing in a good way with good form. So I would recommend doing something like that. As long as you're not practicing bad habits, you should be all right. Next question, JT Elite. What drill do you recommend to become better at shooting in games? Thanks, have a good Easter. Well, Easter is right past for me, but thanks, man, I appreciate that. So basically what I'm going to say to you is work on trying to either A, get a defender for when you're practicing to put a hand in your face, or B, try to bounce a second basketball. So have 2 basketballs, bounce one down, and then shoot the other one so you have one in front of your face here that's going to get in your path of your eyesight. Getting used to having something in front of you and keeping your eyes focused on the rim is one of the toughest things that players deal with as far as trying to develop their shot for games. So that's one thing that can help you a lot, is just, getting something like that, or even a tennis ball, bouncing it in front of you, just to get it in the sight of your eyes, in the line of sight before you go for that shot, so you can still work on focusing and making the shot. And then also work on your shooting off the dribble. Also, if you want more ways to improve your scoring, head over to the link down below for the 5 fatal basketball mistakes. Also put in the link right here. You can click that. That's going to give you some more ways to help you improve your scoring and your shooting in games. And I also have a program called Scoring Made Simple, which focuses a lot on the footwork, the timing, the dribbling, all that, as far as getting game-specific moves into your jump shots off and being comfortable with it, all the technique that goes into it. Velico, I'm not even going to try to say your last name because I'm going to mess it up. I'm 15 years old and 164 centimeters tall. I am not the best shooter and the best ball handler, but I want to ask you how to play more effective because I'm the smallest player on my team and I often stay on the court without doing everything. So basically, if you're not the best shooter or the best ball handler, we'll put in time working on those skills. Work on that shot, work on your shot and your handles, put the repetitions in to get better at it. But be a hustle player, that can help you quite a bit, working on, just being a high energy guy and trying to be involved in games as much as possible on every single play, loose balls, rebounds, all that, and try to just get yourself into the mix of things as far as when you're playing pickup basketball, trying to do more maybe than you're quite comfortable with, and over time you'll develop it. So, when it comes to doing ball handling moves and shots in games, at first maybe you'll get blocked, maybe you'll get the ball stolen, maybe you'll lose it, but the more you do it, the more comfortable you'll get with it and the better you'll be in games with those things. And then the other thing is, if you have any attributes that you can use to your advantage, like quickness, use that to your advantage. Or, you said you're short, so maybe use that to your advantage. Since you're lower, it's probably going to be easier to get steals, to get bounce passes for assists, to, dribble low so it's hard for people to steal. So use that to your advantage. You know, a lot of things that people look at as a disadvantage is also an advantage. So again, like we talked about before, being tall can be a disadvantage if a shorter player that's quicker uses that against you. And at the same time, being tall does have its advantages, just like being short has its advantages and disadvantages. So never think of anything as being just one way or the other. Elvis Ong says, is it possible to get better handles at home without a basketball? Absolutely. Someone actually left a comment down below and said no, and I'm like, no, it is. Don't get me wrong, you're going to get the most improvement by dribbling with the basketball, but you can absolutely get better, you know, okay, so check this out. People always think about ball handling as far as, you know, improving as being something about all your dribbling. That's about, you know, that's your base. That's what you need to start with, and that's what I teach all my players, you know, that come get my free ball handling workout and guide. I tell them, you know, then from there, you know, get ball on a string program, because it's going to help you with your ball control, and that's your base. Absolutely, you have to have control over the basketball. But what gets you past defenders and gets you somewhere on the court is your feet, right? So just by practicing, working on the coordination and the movements of some dribble moves and the footwork, that's going to be really important for you being comfortable with it and being able to execute it quickly and correctly in games. So you can absolutely just imaginary work on those, and that will actually, believe it or not, have a positive effect. Or even work on, you know, making sure you're working on the dribbling positioning of the release and your hand, you know, where your hands are on the catch and release of each crossover. That's going to be important. You can work on your hand speed. You can work on, you know, a whole bunch of, you know, imagery type things, as far as not even doing something with the basketball, but just kind of picturing, okay, if my defender's here or moving this way or whatever the case may be, or if his spacing's this way, this is what I'm going to do, and just kind of picturing it in your head and then walking yourself through the motion. So you could absolutely get some improvement from doing those sorts of things. You know, repetition again. I'm going to be saying that a lot through a lot of this, but that's really key. James Najayan, I probably messed up your last name again. He says, I love all your video. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Drink time. That's all Bagri, I think I messed your name up. He says, I'm 14 and I started 5 months ago, and I'm good at shooting, but I can't defend or ball handle. I can't stop people from shooting. Players can easily get past me. I can't shoot while people are guarding me. I need help getting my handles and defense to get past defenders and reject shots. Can you please help me? Dude, that's a lot. That's a long list you just gave me, but I can absolutely help you. First of all, go through my YouTube videos, like all that stuff that you were asking me about. I have lots of things to help you with on my YouTube channel, shooting, your ball handling, all that. Also, make sure you head over to gethandles.com, get my free workout. That's going to help you a lot. And then from there, maybe you want to go more in depth, and definitely, check out my programs, get a full program to help you, get some consistency as far as working on your skills. You want to have a consistent schedule as far as what you're working on, so you're working on the same thing and then gradually improving it over time. That way you can, see clear improvements. That's going to be motivational for you, help you with your confidence, and of course, help you with these skills that you need. But so that sounds like a major issue. And then also, work on your athleticism as well. And I have things like that as well through my programs as well as on YouTube. So man, just, watch as much as you can of my YouTube channel, and maybe check out a program or two of mine and put a lot of work in, man. That's all I can really tell you at that point, because it sounds like you're looking at a lot of areas that need help. Shyam Raja says, my coach tells me to square my feet, but I am not comfortable. What do I do? I disagree with your coach. If you're not comfortable with that, and you're especially if you're making your shots, keep doing it. You at the same time have this problem because you want to make sure you keep your coach happy. But I know, like I said in one of the earlier questions, that a lot of players are going to be more comfortable with their feet turned or one of their feet forward. So what I'm going to tell you to do is, when the coach is watching, try to get away with as much of a turn as you can. But like game situation, flow of the game, if you're coming off of a dribble and going up for a shot, he's probably not even going to notice if your feet are squared or not, or coming off of a catch. But when you're doing certain drills or like free throws where it's more spot and set shots, he's probably going to notice. So maybe just see how much you can get away with without him saying something. Or maybe just try talking to him, say, hey look, this is comfortable for me, I'm making shots. I've seen a lot of videos, on YouTube, maybe even point him to this video and say, hey look, this is how the pros shoot, this is how people are teaching it now because they've noticed this is how the pros shoot and they're more effective with it. Maybe, be cool with me doing it because it's working, right? So those are a couple of things you could try. Tuan says, how to mix tight and loose handles. That's an interesting and good question. One of the best ones I've had so far as just being kind of something different. So yeah, tight and loose handles. It's kind of a feel thing, but yeah, you know, tight handles are the things, you know, that kind of more like close to the body. Loose handles, you know, more your Iverson cross type things where you're extending. Kyrie does a little bit of that as well. So how do you mix it? It's more of a feel thing, but you definitely want to make sure you're getting time practicing, you know, working on tight handles and loose handles in combination. That's how you're going to get comfortable with mixing it. And then in games, it's going to be more of a feel thing, like, okay, my guy's not really going much for these little tight handles type fakes. I'm going to send him flying with a big one, you know, or using it as a setup, or using the big one to come into a tight, quick change of direction from that. So reading the defender in the game situation is going to be huge for that. Next question for basketball 1234. Hey Jesse, I'm a good shooter. In the summer I was shooting really good. I could not miss. Then the day before school tryouts, I was practicing. I couldn't make anything when tryouts happened and didn't make it. Then all my season ended and I was practicing and my shot was on fire. The day before spring season I was practicing and my shot was off again. Please help. Man, definitely sounds like a confidence issue. I'm looking at the comments here and it sounds like you had an injury too, so that could throw it off too. So two things. It sounds like it's a confidence and a mentality issue mainly because it sounds like it's happening always right before your season. That means probably as you're coming into the season, you're getting worried about tryouts the next day. And then when tryouts come, you know, and the season's there, you're worried about what people are thinking, that you're going to miss, that you're not going to make enough shots. You're thinking about the wrong things, man. Think about the shots you're making. Imagine, you know, the perfect form and imagine the ball going in. Imagine, okay, I'm going to tear it up this season. Think about that. Think, you know, cool, calm, collective, like, oh yeah, I got this. I've been working on my shots all off season. I'm hitting shots like nothing. Come season, I'm going to be ready. I'm going to bust it. You know what I mean? So when season time comes, you got to keep that mentality going, and you should have that mentality, especially if you're on fire before season. You know you can make shots. It's just a matter of getting it up in here that, okay, you know what? Yeah, there's players, other players here. Yeah, there's coaches. I can do this though. The other thing is, you know, maybe make sure you're getting some time in practicing with you know, playing more pickup type basketball and working to make sure your shooting's there. That might be one thing that's affecting you as well, but make sure you get, you know, that confidence. That's number one. And if you've been injured, you know, make sure you get healed right, and then make sure when you come back that your form is right. You might notice that something gets thrown off. Like if you have an ankle that was injured, you might start favoring the other foot a little more. So now that's going to throw your shot alignment off, right? Or, you know, a wrist, whatever the case may be. Everything connects in the body, right? So if one thing gets hurt, there's going to be a compensation, and that's going to go all the way up the chain. And next thing you know, you're changing your shot form, you know, by compensating with putting an elbow in or whatever the case may be. So make sure when you get back to it that you're trying to make sure everything's exactly the same as it was before. Next question, 2841 Gilherm. Hopefully I said that right. What's up? I'm 16 years old, 5'9". Even though I'm a one-motion shooter, I do the dip, release the ball when it reaches my eyebrow with no stop in between. But I can't get a natural shot at the three-point line. It only hits the rim when I shoot a poor arc type shot. I like to make high arcs when shooting, but at the line, there is no way. Maybe because I am not jumping high enough, or perhaps because I don't have enough strength in my muscles. Do you think gym can help? I already did that. I did already for a year. Now I stopped, going to hit it again ASAP. Weightlifting can definitely help you. You know, squats, deadlifts, stuff like that. Overhead presses, bench press can definitely help you. It'll make a difference. I got a feeling though, you probably think you're doing the exact same thing at the three-point line as you are from closer in, but you're probably not. Especially if, you know, you're having an issue getting there. It's probably a timing thing, or maybe what you're doing closer needs some fixes. I'd have to see video of you to know for sure. But again, making sure you get all that energy transfer in your shot is going to be important. You don't necessarily need a lot of strength to get it there. I mean, Stephen Curry's not the biggest guy, and he's shooting from like 4 or 5 feet behind the line, pretty much exactly the same as he does from closer, without, you know, having to jump super high to get it there most of the time. So jump height probably isn't the issue if I had to guess. Again, I haven't seen you, but making sure you're transferring all that energy directly up into the shot. Maybe one thing to try too that might help you is try delaying when you bring the ball up, so it becomes more of a one motion even more. Maybe you are a one motion shooter, but if you delay how long you wait to bring the ball up to shoot, boom, all of a sudden it's going to be real quick. And your power is basically a combination of strength and speed, okay? So if you can make this motion quicker, you're going to improve on that amount of power that you're outputting. So you're not necessarily getting stronger, but by moving the ball up quicker, now you're going to be able to get more power and get that shot further while keeping the same form just by holding it down here longer and then waiting to the last second to get that shot off. That's one thing Curry does really well, is he gets that arm movement real quick. So everything transfers really up quickly and you can get a nice high arcing shot. That was a really long answer. Pedro Mendez, hey, I'm 5'10" and I'm awesome at doing contact and contested layups, and I'm deadly from outside, but I can't shoot mid-range. If I had to shoot it, it will be an air ball. What can I do? How can I be better? It's a feel thing. And the thing is, mid-range, generally your three-point shots, a lot of players get those more uncontested. They have time to get in the rhythm and go up for the shot, whereas mid-range is more of like, okay, you're coming off of a dribble move or a catch, and you have to get the shot up quickly because there's more players in closer, right? So there's more opportunities for players to get to the shot quicker and block it, so you have to get it off a little quicker. So the main thing is to work on more game-specific type dribble moves and catches and stuff like that, and the footwork, and try to get up that shot quickly. Getting the repetitions is going to be huge. Again, click the link for up here, top right-hand corner, for my 5 fatal basketball mistakes, and check out my Scoring Made Simple program. If you get the 5 fatal basketball mistakes, there's a link for it in there as well. As far as, you know, how to improve those sorts of things is in that mid-range, getting the footwork right, the dribble, you know, timing down, the positioning, all of those details are going to be very important. But game repetitions on, you know, or practice repetitions on game speed and game type moves is going to be very important for getting that mid-range down. Rain Man says, "Amen, I'm 14 years old, 5'11", 127 pounds, you're pretty tall. I have good ball handling, I have broke a few ankles, I dribble very low, but I get ripped a lot. But before you say that I maybe dribble too much, I don't. Please help, it would be appreciated." Okay, so you dribble low, but you get ripped a lot. Okay, one thing I want to say first off is a lot of coaches, this is something that's been taught through the years, I was taught this myself. Dribbling low alone doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to get the ball stolen, because if you're always dribbling down here and you're dribbling very predictably, it's not going to stop a defender from swatting the ball. Number two, if you're dribbling low all the time, you're not as free to move with your feet, because if you're dribbling down here, now you can't really move quite as far. Whereas if you have a higher dribble, watch Kyrie, watch Steph Curry, they dribble more up by the waist, sometimes even all the way up here by the shoulders, because that allows them to get a nice, you know, high dribble where the ball's floating for a while. Now that frees up time for them to move their feet and cover more ground with their feet. And the other thing to consider is you're not necessarily going to get ripped just because you're dribbling high, which is one thing that, you know, the reason that a lot of people always teach not to. If you have the dribble up here and someone's trying to rip it, if the ball's in your hand and someone tries to come get it right here, boom, behind the back, or boom, go into spin move. You still have the ball in your hand, so you can still move it, right? So just because it's dribbling high doesn't mean you're automatically going to get ripped. You still have perfect control of the ball, and as long as you're looking at your defender and reacting, that's not going to be an issue. You can still get the ball ripped low because a lot of defenders are going to wait for it down there. So one thing to consider. But to more answer your question, you know, as far as why you're getting ripped, I really can't say, but it's probably an issue with not protecting the basketball with your dribble move. So if a defender's tight, using a behind the back or using a protection dribble, that's going to be one of the main things to pay attention to. Next one is Nick Garcia. "Hey Jesse, I'm 14 years old, 5'6", and I've been playing since I was 6. He says, "I have always been a great shooter and I have pretty good handles, but sometimes while handling the ball I get stolen from or tense up when I know someone else is better than me. I have made City All-Stars 3 times now, but in order to be a deadly all-around player, I gotta have top-notch handles. What can I improve on?" So, pretty good handles while handling the ball I get stolen from or tense up. So basically it almost sounds like it's a mental thing. When you say when you know someone is better than you, don't ever think someone's better than you. That's like one thing you'll always hear the best players say, like, "I know I'm the best player on the court." And they probably thought that before, you know, other people thought that, or before, you know, like Steph Curry right now, a lot of people say he's the best player. He probably thought he was the best player on the court before anyone else was saying that, and that mentality is what allowed him to become that player. If you go into a game scared, thinking about, oh, this guy's going to steal the basketball, well, guess what's going to happen? That guy's going to steal the basketball. If you think, oh, I'm going to blow by this guy, I'm going to create space, this guy can't rip me, guess what's going to happen? All those things, right? So get that mentality up. And then just get, you know, again, like I'm saying with a lot of these other questions, get repetitions and get practice, work on game speed handles in your practice. John JS12 says, I'm a lefty and I'm pretty good at shooting, but when I play with others, they point me out and say I'm just going to shoot or go to my left. Can you help me with going to your weak hand side? Again, bunch of weak hand videos on my YouTube channel. I have my weak hand program, the ace hand program. We don't really like calling it the weak hand. We like to get rid of that mentality and call it your ace hand. You can count on it. But you know what? I'm a lefty myself, and a lot of players would say this to me on defense, like, when are you going to go right? But the thing is, I kept blowing by them going to the left because they're not used to guarding lefties. A lot of guys aren't. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'll let them talk to me all they want as far as not going right, but if they're not stopping me going left, why would I stop going left, right? So make sure, you know, you're taking that into consideration. They might just be trying to get in your head. If you're getting past them going left, keep going left. If they start cutting you off, just make sure that you do have that right hand with the ability to go right. And, you know, then all it's going to take is to go to right one or two times, and now they're going to be really, you know, either way you go, they're not going to really have an answer for you. And then as far as them saying you're going to shoot or go to your left, you know, or saying you're going to shoot, if you're making your shots, again, don't let them get in your ear. Do what's working. John Valdez, how do I increase my range? Basically, you know, again, it's going to come into the energy transfer. Hitting the weight room can definitely help, but the main thing is to work on, you know, getting that form down, making sure you're keeping your form the same, and then just, you know, gradually stepping back a step or two each time you practice or each week you practice. But again, making sure that form is there, that it's not changing from when you're closer, and, you know, mainly just making sure that you got all your things intact like we talked about in the last video. Elbow bent at least 90 degrees or more, wrist bent back, all that. Get the hips back, power up into the shot, make sure the timing is there. That's going to be huge. Your timing is really, really important. Hyejin Kim says, I'm struggling on shooting when the defenders are guarding me. I kind of feel like I would get blocked. How can I fix that problem in practice? Kind of like the thing I talked about earlier. Exact same thing. You know, get a defender to put a hand in your face or bounce a second basketball or a tennis ball in front of you just to get something in your line of sight while you're shooting, to get used to it, get the feel for that, and keep your eyes focused on the rim while you have something else in front of you. Next thing, white hair, demon ghoul thing, thanks for answering my question, he says. You're welcome, man. I practice with a hoop every day now because I found a way to regularly play with a hoop, and since then my shot has been improving a lot. That's awesome, man. My free throw shooting has definitely improved along with my jump shots. Thanks again. No problem, man. Glad I could help you. I'm Viral says, I have a question for you, question that you can hopefully answer. I think you meant to say. I have a problem with my shot. For example, every time I go into the park, my shot changes for every shot. I do drills that help you make, but it ends up changing every time I shoot. Please help me out. So, one thing I'm going to tell you right now is stick to maybe, you know, 5-10 drills that you always use. And make sure they're all enforcing the same habits, because if you're using a lot of different drills that are teaching you to shoot different ways, your shot's definitely going to change every time you play. The other thing is to make sure, you know, that with these drills that, you know, if there is something, you know, different to them, that, like, say maybe there's one-hand form shooting drills. Okay, you want that one-hand form shooting drill to make, when you're doing it, that you want to make sure that this hand is doing everything the same as you are with your two-hand shooting drills. Okay, so if, say, you're doing two-hand shooting drills and you shoot like this, and you do one-hand shooting drills and all of a sudden you start doing this, that's a problem. That's going to mess with your shot. You want to make sure everything is exactly the same, okay? Because if you're not, you're going to start to lose a lot of that consistency that you're gaining. The other thing is making sure that just when you're playing in games, practicing, all that, again, everything is the same. And then from there, just getting repetitions in. So it might be an issue, you know, with doing different drills that are, you know, either teaching you to shoot different ways, or the different drills maybe are supposed to be done with the same form, but because, you know, you're making certain compensations with your elbow or your wrist or whatever, that, you know, that's changing the way you're shooting. Viper CHW4 says, I'm good at shooting and ball handling skills, but I can't get ankles when I play with my friends. Don't worry so much about breaking ankles. I know I do a lot of videos as far as how to break ankles, but at the end of the day, what you should focus on is getting past your defender, and that's going to happen in the flow of the game. Breaking ankles is something that, you know, when it happens, it's awesome, and, you know, it's usually the product of just having a good, solid change of direction and, you know, working on just trying to get past your defender, and when it happens, it's great. But if you're just out on the court just trying to make a guy fall or, you know, send him flying, you're kind of wasting your time and your energy. Your energy should be focused on getting the buckets, getting assists, getting open shots, etc., 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 getting your teammates involved, all those things. So, breaking ankles is something that you can't completely practice, but, it comes down, again, like some of the things I talked about earlier, quick changes of direction and whatnot. So, Dominic Mack says, I need help. I'm good at shooting and have good handles, but want to get my handles better because even though I have good handles, I think I need to improve, so maybe I can break ankles. I know basketball is not about that, like I just said, but I want to have fast handles, so what to work out and that I can do to get better handle. I am the second best in my group and I need to get better because we are going to have field day at my school and I am in 6th grade and if we bet them we go up, this is a long question, up and versus 8th, so I want to get better so I have a chance. I have been watching you since 2015. Thank you for everything you do, so I hope you can help me. So getting better handles. Well, if you've been following me since 2015, that's about a year now, maybe a little longer. Stick with a lot of things you're seeing on my YouTube. Maybe check out one of my programs again. If you want to get to that next level, that consistency and taking some of the next level training tactics is going to help you. For you, off the top of my head, I would recommend speed handles too. It sounds like you want to try to get a little bit faster and next level with your handles. That's what speed handles too is all about. Getting your quick explosive handles and getting handles so good you can dribble 3 basketballs at once. We actually work you all the way up to that in that program. But other than that, just keep putting in repetitions, working on new things, but again, being consistent with those new things and then taking things up a notch gradually. Emil Luis Casambros says, I am 14 years old, 5'6". I can shoot the ball well, that I actually gained the nickname Steph Curry of Barwa. Barwa is a compound I live in, and I don't think I'm that good at shooting. They just don't see me miss. I have the worst handles, I can't do combos, and I can't dribble in games, even though I practice every day on the outdoor court. How can I improve my handles? Again, top right hand corner of the screen, get my free ball handling workout and guide. Keep watching my YouTube videos, practicing that. Again, if you want to go next level, definitely grab one of my programs. I mean, that's gonna be the best way to make sure you're getting to the highest level possible is through a full training program, and that you're getting there the most quickly, because again, it's gonna have the consistency, yet the amount of change and progressions that you need to do that. Next question, Joe Gonzalez. What is your opinion on AND1 shoes? I haven't rocked AND1 shoes in a long time. Back when the AND1 mixtape tour was the thing, they actually had a lot of great shoes that I liked a lot. They were real light, low to the ground, had a different look to them. I loved a lot of those. Current ones, couldn't really tell you. Daniel Onayemi, how many hours do you have to put in to make it to the pros? There's no answer to that question, man. I really can't tell you. No one can tell you, because every player is different. You got tall players, you got short players, you got players with different athletic abilities. You got players that maybe their practice is better than another player's practice. So 10 hours for one player and 10 hours for another player, the one player could get 4 times as good as the other player, because maybe one player's not getting better or even practicing things that are making him worse. And the other player practicing things that are going to help him accelerate his improvement. That's again why I really push some of my ball handling programs and programs in general in these questions, because they're guaranteed to make sure you're improving and that you're practicing in the right way. Whereas a lot of times players will practice things that teach them bad habits or just actually make them worse, and that's kind of a scary thing to think about. So there's really no answers for how many hours you need to practice to make it to the pros, and even then there's no 100% guarantee, but you're definitely going to improve your shot of making it pro if you're practicing the right way and putting in enough of that practice. Maria Collins 89 says, I'm starting a club for 9 and 10 year olds. I usually coach high school, and I was wondering, what do you think are the 3 or 5 most important things to focus on for the younger age? I know I will want to teach them a lot, and I need to work on focusing myself. Thanks. Well, Maria, basically, 9 to 10 year olds, first thing is, basic skills, ball handling, control, passing, things like that, footwork, just, the bare basics. But the one thing I really notice with kids at the younger ages is they either A, want to try to do everything themselves, so they're going to try to dribble and they're going to try to take the ball all the way to the hoop and make the layup and not, get tunnel vision, or 2, they're going to get past someone or just get the ball and freak out and try to get rid of the ball. So you want to make sure you're kind of working on the mental aspect of that mainly, you know, with like the players that freak out, is making sure, you know, they stay calm. Like after you, you know, dribble and get past your defender, make sure, you know, you keep your dribble going or protect the ball, but stay calm. Don't just quick try to throw it and get rid of it, because a lot of times that's where your turnover is going to happen. And then, you know, for the players that, you know, are trying to do everything, try to get them in the mentality and the habit of passing a little bit more. Next question is Aaron Jaros, who is answering a lot of questions from other people, so shout out to you again, man. He says, hey Jesse, my questions are pretty simple. The only problem is I really can't find an answer to them. I can make layups all the time when I'm practicing, but when it comes to games, I struggle to finish them. Sometimes I just think it's from contact, but even when I have an open lane and there is no contact, I still miss the layup. It is very frustrating because I know I should make those. However, I'm not very strong. Is this the problem? Am I rushing the layup or something? How do I fix this? And my main question is there a specific form or kind of scoop layup? And am I doing it wrong, and should I be using this layup at all? Well, I just had the video a couple days ago come out on how to do layups like Kyrie Irving, and there's like a million ways you can finish layups. So, you know, with you missing your layups, it's not necessarily an issue of what kind of layup you're doing. Maybe for the game situation, you know, for defenders here, and you know, you're putting it at an angle where you can't finish around them, that could be the issue. But overall, it doesn't sound like it's that. It sounds like it's a mental thing more than anything for you, man. It's just focusing on, you know, where you're trying to finish around the rim, getting the repetitions of finishing different ways, like in that Kyrie Irving drill is going to help. And then, you know, as far as being strong with contact and defenders, again, those Kyrie things are going to help. Working on maybe getting practice with someone that's, you know, giving you contact on your layups, you know, either with, you know, just pushing into you or using, like, again, like a football pad could help you. And, you know, just making sure you're jumping up high, or, you know, if you're doing more of the Kyrie type layups, you know, far, just to get around your defender. But if you're going to try to finish on someone, I would recommend mostly either try to finish high, take the contact, and then from there initiate the layup motion, because after you've initiated contact, defenders are going to kind of fall back and not really be able to get a good block on you. So that's one thing that can help you with that. Other than that, yeah, I mean, it sounds like a mental thing, just making sure you're focusing completely on the rim and the layup, making the shot, and being confident that you're going to make it, and kind of putting everything else out to peripheral. You know your defenders are there, but you're not really thinking about them. They're just kind of there, and you're going to react as you need to, but you're not going to necessarily look at them. Because when you're looking at them, you're not looking at the hoop, and you're not going to finish. Or even if you're not, you know, looking at the hoop but thinking about them, yeah, you're looking here, but you're thinking about here. Your focus is in the wrong spot. You're going to miss those layups. Next question, CSGO Elite Noob. I have insane handles, but I can't shoot, I think is what he meant to say. Well, follow a bunch of the answers I gave in this video, some of my other videos, as far as, you know, working on your shot, your form, all that, getting repetitions in again. Another one asking how can I get explosive start. Already answered that. Jace Kilpatrick. When I warm up my handles and shot, I do good, but in the game I get nervous and swing the ball a lot or miss shots. What can I do? Confidence again. Make sure you go into the game, take deep breaths, calm yourself down, think of yourself being, you know, successful in the game, and then when you actually get in the game, again, stay calm but confident, knowing you're going to be successful, reading the defense, seeing your opportunities, and then when you get those opportunities, focusing on that, not focusing too much on the defense. Focus on what you want to happen, not what you don't want to happen. Focus on the positive thing that you want to occur. So that's the main thing as far as that goes. And just, you know, making sure you know, okay, no one can stop me out there. Again, that mentality of I'm the best player on the court. That's going to be huge for you. So, you know, again, mentally is a huge thing for, I'm noticing a lot of these questions, is getting that mentality down. And then the final one, comment 101, well, not including all the replies, but is from Nick Jones. I'm a better Streetball one-on-one player than in games. Could you help me out with that? Absolutely. So Streetball one-on-one, it's easier because there's all this space on the court, no other defenders trying to pick at you. But in some ways, it's also harder because now you can't, you know, you're missing certain opportunities. When you're playing in a game of 5-on-5, 4-on-4, you can kind of, you know, sell pass fakes and get your defender to go, you know, maybe try to steal that pass fake and then drive, or whatever the case may be. But as far as, you know, getting better in games, you need to get some more practice in playing in games, or practice, you know, with more type of reactional type things with tennis ball drills can help with that and whatnot. and multiple cones to help you work on that second, third move to weave through other defenders and finishing around other defenders. So that can help you as well. But definitely one of the main things I'm going to tell you is try to get more practice in playing with multiple players, because it's just simply easier to play one-on-one because you have all that extra space on the court, less things to worry about and whatnot. And when you do get in 5-on-5 games, don't approach it like one-on-one. That's another issue that a lot of players have. Like, one-on-one is great to develop your skill set and your offensive abilities to break down your own defender. But if you're approaching a 5-on-5 game like that, you're going to have some issues, because let's say, for example, you start to get past your guy, but he starts closing out on you, and then another help defender comes in on you, and they're in front of you. If you have that one-on-one mentality, you're going to just try to keep dribbling and trying to make something happen, get a jump shot off, trying to drive past them, right? But this guy that just collapsed on you, the help defense, just left one of your teammates open. Get him the ball. Make it simple. Don't make it any harder than you have to. And then when you start doing that a couple times, this help defense guy's not going to come in on you. Now you will have a few opportunities throughout the game where it's just going to be you and your guy one-on-one, and you can get in the lane past them or open up the jump shot against him. But, that's only going to happen a few times per game. It's not going to happen every single possession. So that's my final tip. And that was a lot of basketball answers. I'm going to try to get answers for as many questions as I can for people to leave comments down below in this one. Thanks for watching the video and sticking with me if you got all the way to the end. Stay tuned for more. A lot more coming. Again, if you haven't got my free ball handling workout and guide, click that link. 5 fatal basketball mistakes to improve your scoring. Click that link. Both of them are going to help you a lot. Also, hit that subscribe button if you haven't. I think I might have said that already. I can't remember. My mind's going crazy from all this talking. To catch the newest tips, tutorials, drills, leave a comment with your question down below. And if this helped you, definitely make sure you hit that like button and share this video with a friend if maybe some of these answers are going to help them. Ton of knowledge and information in here for you guys that can hopefully help you improve your games. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more. Let's stay on our grind.